What's up, everybody? My name is Steven Sharkey. Today we're watching Be Amazed, Biggest Vehicles Ever Made. Now I'm really excited to see this, and I think you guys are too. Let's jump right in.
It's human nature to constantly test the limits of what we can build. But engineers seem to double down on that instinct when it comes to vehicles. With no task too big and no job too much, humans have created some of the most unimaginable vehicles to undertake huge operations. Proving that sometimes bigger really is better, let's take a look at some of the biggest vehicles ever made. NASA Crawler Transporters. Getting a rocket from the ground into space is no easy feat. But did you ever wonder how it gets to the launch site in the first place? Well, NASA tends to take the slow and steady wins the space race route with a pair of 130-foot wide behemoth machines called Crawler Transporters.
Oh my goodness.
For over 55 years, these gigantic machines have been responsible for moving rockets and spacecraft from the Kennedy Space Center Assembly Building to the launch pads. Each transporter weighs almost as much as 100 Sherman tanks, clocking in at 3,000.
You know, I've never thought about that before. I guess you do have to build the where you build the rocket away from the launch site, because the launch from the rocket will probably shatter windows and take out stuff from the other side and damage it. So I guess that doesn't make sense. I've never really thought about that.
1,150 tons and 3,300 tons each.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks to their enormous weight, they only travel at a speed of roughly 1 mile per hour, with a top unloaded speed of 2 miles per hour.
Oh.
So even if you're intimidated by their size, you could probably outwalk both crawlers with ease. But what they lack in speed, they make up for in loading capacity, with
Look at this guy. He's ducking.
each of them able to carry 8,000 tons. That's more than 25 fully loaded Boeing 777 airplanes. They moved their first rocket way back in 1966, and the last time they were truly put to use was in 2011, moving the Space Launch System's mobile launcher. But you might see them again in 2024 when NASA's Artemis space project is due to take off. That'll be one slow step for man, one giant crawl for mankind. But if you're looking for a quicker way of getting your fact fix, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I put out new content every day, covering everything from the greatest facts and most mind-blowing stories, so you never
do truly check out Be Amazed. He's a very good fall
behind, unlike the NASA crawlers. Now let's take a look at more colossal vehicles that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Liebherr T284 mining truck. Mining operations are some of the biggest undertakings in the world, and for the biggest projects, you definitely need the biggest trucks. This absolute beast is the Liebherr T248 mining truck. With an overall width of almost 32 feet and a height of over 27 feet, that makes this truck about as tall as a 2-story building. Also known as haul trucks, vehicles of this design are used to move huge amounts of earth or other material from one place to another, all in one go. But what's really fascinating about this particular truck is that it has one of the lowest empty vehicle weights for its gargantuan proportions. That means it weighs in around a paltry 240 tons. I say paltry only in comparison to the standard payload it can carry, which can reach 360 tons.
Jeez.
Now that's one heck of a haul. MSC Gulson. With this next vehicle, I'm going to have to ask you to contain your excitement. If you need help with that, just ask the MSC Gulson.
Get it? Because it's a container ship and get it? It was pretty funny.
One of the largest container transporting ships in the world. The MSC Gulson can carry more than 23,000 containers on its incredibly large deck. Measuring in at 203 feet wide and 1,312 feet long, it hits the seas chock full of standard 8 feet wide.
You know what's crazy? That thing's sinking. Think about that. Think about how much stuff. That would be terrible. It would take out billions of dollars.
Shipping containers and transports them in rows of 24 across. If the same task of this scale was to be completed on land, it would require approximately 44 8,000-foot-long trains. In one single voyage, the MSC Gulson can transport weight roughly equivalent to 47,512 cars or 2.94 million washing machines.
What? These comparisons, washing machines. Uh,
Or if you prefer your comparisons to be a little fruitier, approximately 223 million bananas.
That's a
That
lot of
said,
bananas.
you wouldn't want to transport anything requiring a super speedy delivery this way, because the huge operational tonnage of the ship means it only has a top speed of 21 knots. That's about 24 miles per hour for those who prefer roads to ocean.
okay, I was gonna say knots. Who knows knots, really?
But with that much cargo on board, I think I'd be happy to wait. World's largest Willys Jeep. If the saying bigger is better has any truth to it, then classic American cars are no exception to the rule. But I'm not talking about the nearly 20-foot long classic cars like the 1979 Lincoln Continental or 1973 Chrysler Imperial LeBaron. I'm looking at the bigger picture. Specifically, this picture. That right
Oh my
there is the
goodness.
world's largest working Willys Jeep replica,
How do you even drive that?
owned by Sheikh Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan. It's approximately 4 times
as big
bigger
as
than a
his name.
standard Willys Jeep, and with a person for scale, you can see just how large that really is. Even though it looks statuesque, it is actually reportedly motorized and holds the Guinness World Record for largest motorized model car in the world. The
What?
Sheikh's Instagram shows that he's a very big fan of very big motors. And for this member of the United Arab Emirates royal family, when it comes to his cars, money really is no object. He's refused to reveal how much the construction of the 20-foot replica Jeep cost, but internet sleuths claim that those giant earth mover tires are worth around $40,000 each, at least.
Oh my
While it stands as one of the greatest tributes to Jeep design ever created, I'm not sure how practical it would be to drive.
How do you even drive it?
Mil-Me 26 helicopter. Trust the biggest country in the world to bring the biggest helicopter to the skies. While the rest of the world were building the biggest land vehicles, Russia created the 26-foot high, 110-foot long Mil-Me 26 helicopter, putting all other choppers to shame. The maximum takeoff weight of this 8-bladed beast is around 56 tons. Enough to carry 10 fully grown African elephants.
Oh my-
Now granted, that may not seem like a lot compared to other giant machines, but compared to the American AH-64 Apache helicopter, which has a maximum takeoff weight of 23,000 pounds, there's almost 100,000 pounds of difference. With a flight range of nearly 500 miles, the Mil-Me 26 is usually called in to help deliver large payloads to hard-to-reach places. Its day-to-day work usually sees it transporting planes and other smaller helicopters, like this Chinook back in 2002.
your back, bro.
But it can also be used for more unusual purposes. How unusual? Well, it once helped haul a 23,000-year-old frozen woolly mammoth out of the Siberian tundra. If that's not the most Russian thing you've ever seen, let me know what is in the comments below.
Jeez.
Hitachi
that one.
EX8000-6. There are some jobs that are always going to require a little more power than one man and a shovel. And for those jobs, the pros call in the Hitachi EX8000-6. This humongous mining excavator, seen here working at a coal mining plant in Mozambique, measures in at over 70 feet long when fully extended. That giant
crazy.
shovel is designed to carry over 170,000 pounds of material, which is like trying to lift the Endeavour space shuttle. Now, this vehicle may be capable of lifting humongous amounts of weight,
These comparisons. What are these comparisons? Sorry about that. I knocked this.
but it definitely wasn't built for speed. With the track-based travel device able to top out at just 1.2 miles per hour, you certainly can't use this thing for a drag race. But instead of favoring speed, the machine's lower rollers and track shoes have been designed to keep its giant body stable, which on its own weighs around 800 tons.
Yeah, if that flips over, you're done for. Like, what machine is gonna not like flip that over?
That's about the same as 4 Statues of Liberty. Now that's what I call a monument to heavy lifting. Overburden Conveyor Bridge F60. Looking at the overburden conveyor bridge F60, you might be mistaken for thinking someone tipped the Eiffel Tower on its side. But with a length of 1,647 feet, the F60 is actually longer than the Eiffel Tower is high. It's been out of commission for almost 30 years. But what exactly did this gigantic steel colossus do? Well, it was a piece of mining equipment designed to remove the layer of dirt and rock lying above the seam of coal in a strip mine. With its cutting edge set 60 meters above the ground, giving it the name F60, it stood taller than an 18-story building. In its heyday, the conveyor belts you can see here carried dirt across the bridge to the opposite end, where it was transferred into dump trucks. It was able to convey over 1 million cubic meters of dirt per hour, weighing around 55,000 tons. That's enough to fill up a soccer field to a height of 26 feet. But this steel behemoth didn't stay still while it did this. The structure rested on a two-wheeled chassis that could ride stretches of very narrow gauge rail, slowly moving the entire structure along the seam. They were strong enough to carry the 13,600-ton structure as well as all that dirt. Finally, something they might be able to transport your mother around on.
That came out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Well, with that fantastic joke, we're going to end that video right there. Thank you guys. Please comment, and please comment apple juice to confuse everybody else. And thank you. Comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.